Hi, this is Jaya. Now we shall see the summary of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Now Mark Twain starts a story by telling what the events which happened in the adventures of Tom Sawyer. And both these novels are actually placed in the background of the town of St. Petersburg in Missouri. And the story takes place on the banks of River Mississippi. Now actually in the end of Tom Sawyer, we find that Huckleberry Finn, who is a very poor boy and he has a drunken father, and he and his friend Tom Sawyer, a middle class boy, they find a robber's stash, that is the money which the robber has found. It is full of gold, and because of this Huck gets quite some bit of money, and which actually this money is given to him by the bank where the gold is entrusted. And Huck is also adopted by one kind woman called Widow Douglas, and this Widow Douglas is living with her sister Miss Watson. And this Miss Watson, both of them take care of Huck, and they teach him cleanliness, manners, and church manners, and school. They join him in a school and all that. Though Huck is bored by this new life, he listens to Tom Sawyer, his friend, who tells him that if he wants to be a part of this new robbers gang, he must be respected by everyone, and to be respected he has to go to the church and pray properly. People should have good opinion about him, and he should have good schooling also. But Huck's father, who is a very brutish person and a drunkard, his name is Pap, he comes to the town and he asks Huck to give him the money which he has. In that town there is a good judge called Thatcher, and of course this widow also, they try to get the custody of Huck. But another judge believes that Huck's natural father must be the real guardian of the child, and he feels that he can reform Pap, and he takes the responsibility of reforming Huck, and even takes Pap into his house. But Pap is not able to come out of his drunkenness or his greediness for money. So he goes back to his old ways, and he also continues to harass Huck. Meanwhile, Huck goes regularly to school, and the discipline which is given to him in his house makes him a very decent fellow, and he's also learned how to read. So what happens is Pap kidnaps Huck, and he keeps him in a cabin across the river from St. Petersburg. And whenever Pap goes out, he locks Huck in the cabin, and he comes back fully drunk, and he beats Huck. Not able to tolerate this sort of a treatment, Huck, what he does is, he takes a pig, he kills the pig, and pours all the blood of the pig all over the place, and he escapes, making everyone to think that he is dead. And he goes and hides into Jackson's Highland, which is in the middle of the Mississippi River. And from there he notices that all the people, they come and they search in the river for his dead body. And for a few days he spends there, and as he is in the island, he comes across Jim. This Jim is one of Miss Watson's slaves. And what happened is, this Jim overhears Mrs. Watson talking to another person, and he thinks that she is planning to sell him to the plantation down the river, and he has heard that the slaves are treated very horribly there. And another reason is, if he is sold there, he will get separated from his wife and children, which he does not want to happen. So he has escaped from Mrs. Watson's house, and he has also come to the Highland. And so now Huck is in a problem, because he is not supposed to have a escaped slave with him, but at the same time he cannot leave Jim like that. So both of them, what happened is, they keep camping in the island. At that time, a very big storm comes in the Mississippi, and Mississippi is flooded. And at that time, they notice a raft and a house which comes floating near the island. So they capture the raft, and whatever is inside the house, they take it. And what happens is, they find a body of a man who has been shot. Jim goes and sees a body, but he does not allow Huck to see the dead man's face. Now Huck and Jim, now they have to leave the place, because what happened is, they hear a woman who tells that their husband has seen the smoke coming from the island, and she doubts whether Jim will be hiding there. And they also come to know that a reward is announced for the person who captures and offers Jim back. So now they decide to ride down the river. so that they can reach the mouth of Ohio, and then they can go to a free states where slavery is prohibited, so Jim will not be a slave and he can live happily. And so they go past St. Louis and they come across a gang of robbers on a wrecked steamboat. Somehow they manage to escape from there, and on the process they even take away whatever the robbers had, the money and other things. And when they're traveling in the night, what happens is, because of the thick fog, they miss off the mouth of the Ohio, and they cross that and they come across a group of people who are looking out for the escaped slaves. So in order to save Jim, what happens is, Huck tells that Jim is his father who's lying inside and is suffering from smallpox. On hearing the name smallpox, the men are terrified. They give some money to Huck and they run away from there because they are so terrified about that disease. Now they don't know how to go back to the mouth of Ohio, so they continue to go down river itself. And as they go, what happens is, the raft slams on a steamboat and Huck and Jim get separated. And Huck gets in contact with a very kind people called Grandfords, and they belong to the aristocratic family of the South. But they have a small fight with the Shepherdsen's. This Shepherdsen's son and this Grandfords daughter, they have eloped. So there is a gun battle between both the families and many are killed. And Huck also gets caught in that fight, but Jim comes there with a repaired raft and both of them hurry and they go down the river. After a few days, what happens is, they save a pair of men and they say that they are being chased by armed bandits, and one of them say that I am an English duke, and another one says he is the long lost heir of the French throne. That is, the heir of the French throne will be called as Dauphin. But actually these two men are con men, that is, they are cheaters. Now these two are not able to tell those two people to leave, so they just continue the journey with these two. And when they come to another town, they hear a story. That is, there was one person called as Peter Wilkes, and this Peter Wilkes, when he died, he has left all his money to his two brothers who will be coming from England any day. So the family of that Peter Wilkes is waiting for those two people to come. Now immediately this Duke and Dauphin, who are cheaters, they go to the town pretending that they are Wilkes brothers, and the three nieces of Wilkes, they welcome the conman, and these two people say that they will not be staying there for long, so they want all the property to be sold and they want the money in gold. So they are trying to sell the property very fast and they are changing into gold. Some of the people in the town, they are very doubtful about this, and Huck comes to know that these are cheaters, and somehow he starts admiring the Wilkes sisters, so he decides to expose these two men. And to do good to them, what happens is, he steals all Peter Wilkes' gold from this Duke and Dauphin, and he hides it in Wilkes' coffin itself. And then he meets one of the elder sisters, Mary Jane, and he tells about these two. And actually, when this is all going, the real brothers of Wilkes, they come back from England. And this angers the people there, and they hold both the people who acted as Wilkes brothers, that is the Duke and the Dauphin, and there's a lot of confusion. And in this confusion, what happens is, somehow Huck and Jim, they try to escape, but before going, Huck gives the gold which he has been hiding in Wilkes' coffin, he gives it to the sisters. And when they are about to go, what happens is, these two conmen, Duke and the Dauphin, they come and join in the raft, and Huck and Jim are not able to send them off. And worse thing is, what happens is, these conmen, that is the Duke and the Dauphin, they sell Jim to a local farmer saying that he is a runaway slave. Another thing is, a big reward is waiting for the person who captures Jim and hands over him. And Huck feels it is his responsibility to help Jim. So he goes to the place where Jim is kept, and when he goes there, a woman is so happy to see Huck, and she calls him as Tom. And Huck understands that she is thinking him that he is Tom, and he finds out that it is none other than Tom Sawyer's aunt and uncle, Silas and Sally Pepys. And so Huck starts behaving like Tom. And what happened is, at that time, Tom himself comes there, And knowing what happened, he pretends to be the younger brother Sid. Now what happens is Tom tells a plan to free Jim. And though Huck feels that there are chances for them to get killed if that plan gets executed, in order to help Jim, he also agrees. And the boys ransack the whole place and they make everyone miserable, and somehow Jim is freed. But when they are going, one of the person who is coming behind them, he shoots Tom in the leg. Now Huck has to find a doctor to treat Tom, and Jim also says that he is prepared to sacrifice his freedom to give treatment for Tom. And so they all return to Phelps' house, and Jim is put back in chains. But when Tom wakes up only, he tells that Jim is actually a free man and he knew all that all along, because Miss Watson, before she could die, she had given him a provision in a will that Jim is free, and this has happened 2 months back. And though Tom knew it, he just wanted to play a game. That is why he did, to pay Jim for all his troubles. And Tom's Aunt Polly also, she comes there, and she identifies both Tom and Sid as Huck and Tom. So everyone comes to know that it is actually Huck and Tom who are there. And Jim tells Huck now that his father is dead, because Huck is afraid whether his father will come back again and torture him. He tells him that the dead body which they saw in the house with the face being shot, it was none other than Pap, that is Huck's father. So he need not fear about his father anymore. And Sally comes and she offers to adopt Huck. Now Huck has had enough civilizing already done, so he plans to go to the west. So the story ends in a very happy ending. I hope you've understood the story. Please to write your comments in the comment box, and if you have anything to add on, even that you can write it in the comments, so that will be helpful to others. Like the video, share it with others, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.